Hello everyone, this is Eric Sieber of White Birch Enterprise, and I'm doing the monthly update tutorial. And what you'll see here is where we left off on setting up the baseline. In this schedule, what we show is that the design home task is completed, and below that you'll see the baseline that was established and short of the completion date on designing the home, which means that we are now behind schedule. Also a reminder that we had set a constraint on the certificate of occupancy to must finish on October 17th. So what that is doing is pushing backwards and putting negative float into the remaining activities. Once again, the reason why get permit is only one day is because it's a concurrent activity with order materials, and it is 15 days long versus the 20 days for ordering the materials. Okay, so let's get started. What we're going to do is we're going to do a couple things to set up. So we went through the process of setting up the baseline. What we're going to do is we're going to show you more. We're going to do two things. One, visually. I'm a visual person, so I want to see it on the bars before we update, and I also want to see it in tabular form. So we're going to set up the tabular form. Once again, we have the estimated start, estimated finish, actual start, actual finish. This is where we input all of our data. Baseline start and baseline finish. We're going to, let's say, shrink this a little bit because we don't need that. We're going to insert. Remember, left click on that. I have a happy mouse, by the way. Right click on insert a column. We're going to type in B and baseline. So we want to go to baseline 1. And as we baseline 1 start, say OK, and we're going to go here, right click, insert a column, hit the B to get the baselines, baseline 1 finish, say OK. Alright, so now we've have two more. Once again, you'll see right here that there are no dates. Okay, so we're going to go over, we're going to actually now look at what we're going to do here is we're going to set our baseline 1 to the current schedule. I want to do this before I update the schedule. So the reason is I will now be able to compare it to the original schedule, which is the black line, and compare it to what was the schedule before I updated it. So what we're going to do, we're going to go do a visual. We're going to first we're going to update. It's going to go to Tools, Tracking, Set Baseline. Okay, so we set the baseline already, which we can see. Now what we want to do is set baseline 1. Later on it'll give you the date of when you set this baseline. Once again, we're going to do it for the entire project, so we just say OK. Nothing's changed visually because we haven't changed the look of our bars, but if we go over right here, we can see baseline start, baseline 1 finish. Now have dates. Once again, it's blue because that is new information that wasn't there before. So if we want to get rid of the blue, we can just hit save or whatever, or let it stay there. I'm going to let it stay there because I don't want to overwrite this program. We can do File, Save As, and we're going to call that Home 3. Okay, there, and the blue goes away. Next thing we're going to do is we want to visually see this information. So we're going to go to Format, Bar Styles, and what we want to do is we want to see the baseline 1. What we have is a lot of extra possibly seen items, but we don't need them. So we're going to get rid of all of these deliverable items. Okay, what we're going to do is now we're going to add, so we're going to type in baseline 1. You could also type in whatever name you want, the appearance. You know me, I don't like my baselines to stand out too much, so I'm going to make it a line. I'm going to put it the middle line instead of the lower line. The reason I'm going to do that is because right here I'm going to put it in the second row. You have to, here is an important item too. You want to type in B, baseline, finish, and then open it up, and you want to go to baseline 1 start, And once hit the letter B, goes to B, hit the arrow down, go to baseline 1, finish. Okay. Now go down back to the bar. I want it a little bit darker. Sorry, my mouse is a little acting up. Happy mouse. There we go. I'm going to make it a solid color. The baseline itself was black, so I want to make baseline 1 red, just so it differentiates itself. Then we're all done. I'm going to say OK, and voila. We have showing the baseline. Before we update this now, these baseline 1 lines will exactly match the task before updating. So once again, you can recommended is to hit the save button so you don't lose anything you've done. And just so you know, the way we're viewing this is called Tracking Gantt ES2, and so that's where it's going to be saved. And so ES1 was, just so you know, was the original. I updated it, but didn't save it. So that's what Tracking Gantt is when you turn on the baseline. I don't like that look at all. So we're going to go to View ES2, and that's what we get to see. If you want to go and update ES1, the only thing I would recommend is going to this format, but just copying ES2, making it ES1, and get rid of the baseline 1, and you'll get a good idea from the beginning of the project to where you're at, so it doesn't get too crazy. So anyway, here we go, and what we're going to do is now we're going to start updating the project. Like I said, when you update the project, the best place to update the project is right here. Actual start, actual finish. So I'm going to move it a little bit over so I can see that and see the activities. I'm going to hide more of the schedule bar chart form. So we know the project, just so you know, the baseline, we're going to kind of compare all these things. The baseline finish for Bid Home was March 21st. Right now, because we're behind schedule, we're expecting it to occur on March 29th. But what happened is it really ended on 4/3/2012. You're going to get some of these items. You just have to hit continue, and you can avoid those. So what happens is, just so if you can see over here, this item became solid because now it's complete. And what you see is it was supposed to end here and it actually ended there. So we have another delay in the project. What happens is this automatically gets updated once you hit the enter. So these dates have now changed, and that's why they're blue. So if you really want to see what it was before it started, and that's why I did that, once again having a big screen is very important. Before we updated it, the baseline 1 start was supposed to be March 30th. Now it's saying we've lost more time and it's now April 4th. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to actually have real times that occurred. So while we were on this project, while we were bidding the home, instead of waiting for after we were actually able to submit our permit, the architect submitted it for us, and so he got an early start. He submitted it right after he was done with the design. So on 3/5, March 4th, 2012, he started that process, and he finished it right after the bid was due because the general contractor had to pick it up. So right here we said the bidding the home was done on the 3rd of April. So on the 4th of April we were done. So that's 4/4/2012. Okay. Once again, so getting the permit is updated. That's a change. It only occurred, it says 1 day as far as the duration is concerned, but it actually took more. So right here we have order the materials. On that, that could not occur on until we had a contractor, which was after the bidding of the home. So that finished on 4/3. So he actually started on 4/4/2012, and he completed it. He was supposed to take 20 days to complete it, so that was supposed to be on 5/1, or originally on 3/30 to 4/26. He actually completed it in 2 weeks, so he was on complete by 4/18/2012. Okay, so once again it shows what the estimated start and the estimated finish is updated. So if we look right here, we're going to see right now it's saying we can start building that home on 4/19 because we have the permits and we have the materials available, and those were predecessors to building the home. Before, originally it was supposed to start on 4/19, so it is saying we are exactly on schedule from the original. But right now, because we're ahead of schedule, before it said it was going to start on 4/27, so we've saved a bunch of time. So we've actually started it on 4/19 when he said he was going to start 2012, and we're going to input that, and then we're going to go and I'm going to double click this, because what happens is we are not done with that action, we are in the process. So we are 15% complete, and we're going to say OK, and now we're just going to hide some of this data. So what it said was right now estimated start, estimated finish 10/3, we have 10/4 to 10/17. Right now, if we go and look at this, we should be able to see right here, as we track this, here's the build the home activity task right there, with the update showing that it is a % complete. If you put your mouse over it, it'll tell you that it's 15% complete, and complete through Monday, May 14th. So that would have been theoretically today's May 14th, and we would update it. And if we go all the way to the right, it would show 0 days and 0 days, meaning we are actually on time. And just to once again show you, let's say that the actual start date wasn't 4/19, but it was actually 4/20. So we go 4/20/2012. That should be a -1. Just continue, override that. You can say don't tell me about this again, but it's always good. What happens is we started a day later, so it made the fact that we were going to finish on 10/18, so we're 1 day behind schedule, but we have 120 days to make up 1 day. So therefore we're pretty much on schedule, but it's good to understand that. That's my training. Once again, once we can look right here and saying this is where we were supposed to finish the build the home according to the last update. According to the original update, it was right here, and right now we're just 1 day behind the original update and several days ahead of the last schedule. So I'm a visual person. I like to see how I'm doing. If you have a, it's easily, I work on 200 plus activity schedules, and you have a lot of updates, and to be able to quickly identify visually where the changes occurred going back to the earliest task is important to find out where you're losing that. And that allows you to find out what's going on, because often it becomes a problem with your logic, and so what you do is you just change your logic, and or you might have to go and break it up into your logic, meaning you can have one activity that really should be 2 different activities, and it's giving you a false report. Or what you can also do, find out, is that you need to change your logic. You need to do something earlier in order to make up time. But once again, this allows you to be proactive instead of reactive with the information, and put out a better schedule for everyone to review. Or it may not tell the truth as far as what everyone wants to hear, but it'll tell the truth as far as what's really going to happen, and that's more important. Thank you for watching. Hopefully this is helpful to you, and I believe a lot of project managers don't use this and don't update their schedules properly, don't use the actual start and actual finish feature of Microsoft Project, and use the estimated start and estimated feature to record their actuals. It's not the way to do it, and you really should learn to do it properly. Once again, thank you very much, and look forward to maybe hearing from you and hearing your comments.